Today I've done no planning whatsoever. I've hiked this route before, but there's a gap in the weather. I've been stuck indoors for so long that I just had to come out. I'm just going to find some photos on the walk up this mountain, talk you through what I'm looking for and what I see in each potential composition. Now, if you want to photograph waterfalls handheld, just put the camera in drive mode. This will increase your chances of getting a sharp one with blurry water. This is what I'll do with this one, with a shutter speed of 1/6 of a second. I've walked through this gate 100 times but never photographed it, so let's see what I can get. This is a bit close, so I'll get a bit more distance between me and the gate and zoom in. This is about 70mm, and I like to get low with shots like this to blur the foreground a little bit with an aperture of f5.6. Looks like the Air Force are out today. Mac Loop is just up that way, and they come down here and take a sharp left-hand corner. Don't think I got it. My settings are all wrong. Not that good at all. Hopefully they'll come through again. Normally they come through in pairs as well. Morning. How you doing?
Not bad.
Good.
Bit misty up there, mate.
Oh, is it?
Up at the summit, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it'll lift a little bit. Yeah, I bet. So whenever I come up this hike, I always want to get this pano. Looks much better in the snow, but I want to get it here now. I'm actually going to stand on this rock, then the next time I come up when it's snowing, do exactly the same. That is, if I can find that rock. I'm at 28mm, and I've got it in manual mode. You always want to be in manual mode when shooting a pano. I'm just going to focus on the lake. I've got 1/125th of a second, f5.6, ISO 200. What I do is have the zebras on. You can see the zebras showing there. I'm just going to bring it back just down a bit from when the zebras are showing. So focus again. Right. Oh, that last one felt like I was moving still. So I'm going to take that again. Going to overshoot it as well, going to go wider than I think, so I can crop in afterwards. Now, if you are photographing into the winter, it's advisable to get some photography gloves. They have these things, so you can get your index finger and thumb out without the rest of your hand getting cold. I know up on the summit, it's going to be really chilly and probably pretty blowy as well. Wow, look at that. How awesome is that? So we have got sunlight over there, and a few sunbeams coming in over there, but nothing where we are at the moment. But the peak doesn't have any cloud on it anymore. Going to switch back to aperture priority. Just easier in aperture priority. See what we can see with a 200mm. Look at that. Like that. I just love aperture priority because it means you don't have to worry too much about the settings. Just as I'm taking the shot, I'll look down at my shutter speed. Won't really worry about too much else. As long as the ISO is 640 or lower, it's not too bad. And shooting from locations like this where everything's really far away, you don't have to worry about using narrow apertures either. So I can shoot at f5.6 and everything will be in focus. Now, if you're wondering why I'm shooting holding the camera out like this, it's more so you can see the back of the camera. Normally with shots like this, I'd hold it up to my eye, but that doesn't really make for good viewing for you guys. Because it's really dark in the valley and bright in the sky, just going to bracket this one. The land is too dark and the sky is too bright, but I always love this shot from this location. You've got this winding road through the valley with just the hills in the distance. Fantastic. Just need some sunlight to come through. Nice. Now, whenever I'm zooming in on peaks like this, I'll just keep the composition simple. I'll either whack the peak in the center like that, or I'll put it on one of the thirds. So this looks quite nice. And so does this. But sometimes I just like it whacked in the middle, somewhere there. Nice little dusting of frost on the top as well. So something like this might look nice. Yeah. Like I said, with all my compositions, just like to keep it simple. Keep them in the center, fill the frame with the thing that I'm photographing, or something along those lines. Some people down there as well. See if I can get them in the frame. Can you spot them? Now, I've just spotted something else. Out on the horizon, the sunbeams are coming in, and it's looking quite interesting. So, without trying to fall over, I'm going to try and take a photograph that way. I think I'm going to have to get higher for this, but it does look quite interesting. Really like the way that cloud layer is giving a lot of depth. It's just the same, this mountain in the foreground isn't in the sun as well. That's just blocking it a little bit. Again, I'll just put that in the bottom of the frame and not worry about too much else. Day like today, it's more about enjoying the walk and then getting a few photographs to almost document what you're doing. And you never know, you might come away with some nice photographs at the end of it. So I think it's going to be a day where the peaks drop in and out of the clouds. Look at that. So anytime I'm out on a day like this, I'm just looking for parts of the landscape that have light on them. It's just a shame that bit of light over there is not here, but hopefully it's heading this way. Now, the only problem is it's 11 o'clock already and I'm not even at the first summit yet. I've got a limited amount of time and I've got to be at the car at 2 o'clock. So an hour more of hiking up and then a 2-hour yomp back down. I really like how all of these rocks have still got the frost on them, even though it is 11 o'clock. The tricky thing is capturing that. So we've got these piles of rocks, which I think they're cairns. Let me know in the comment below, but I think they're markers to show the path when it gets a bit snowy. But I've spotted this one. Could almost do a shot here where that's mirroring the peak in the distance. So something like that. Again, I'm in aperture priority 1/320th of a second, f5.6, 640. Could drop that ISO down. Could I get, what are we at? Probably about 40 mil. So let's focus about there and then take that. It's a shame the grass isn't in this foreground because that would have tidied the shot up quite a bit. I like lining things like that up there in the frame. We've got some more down here as well. And you can see how they follow the path along. I think they're cairns, they're marker cairns, cairns, whatever they're called. I think. So it looks like there's a few people up on top already. Let's see if we can get them. That's 1/200th of a second, f5.6, ISO 160. Now you can see I don't worry too much about changing my aperture around. This is more about just being out and taking photographs. If I saw a shot that I really liked, I'd stop, maybe get the camera on the tripod because the light is a little bit low, and then shoot with a smaller aperture. But for the moment, I'm just enjoying what I'm doing. It's flat light, but it's dappled light. So I drop my ISO to 100, 1/250th of a second, f5.6. I'm actually going to bring my aperture to f8 and put the peak on the top left-hand thirds because I like the layering of the clouds and the bright mountains. Let's hope that sticks around. And it's a big patch of blue sky coming over, so we could be in the sunlight quite soon, which is fantastic. Now, a shot like this doesn't really have any scale. There's a few people walking up the path down there, but it really doesn't show it. So I'm going to be egotistical and stand on that rock. I think set my tripod up here maybe. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do it quickly. I'm way too big in the frame. Oh well. The other thing I really love is backlit scenes like this. That road is just catching some light. Any people walking along that? No. Do like that though. That's that ridge. There we go. So this one again, I've got that ridge where the sunlight is catching. I'm using that as my foreground element. Then just it falls off into the distance. You've got this really nice rolling landscape with the sunlight hitting it. Just looks fantastic. And I come out a little bit and try and catch some of that cloud in the top of the frame as well. Let me know in the comments below which one you prefer, the tighter shot or the wider shot. I think I prefer the tighter shot, but I could change my mind when it comes to editing the photographs, but who knows. So this is the first peak. Wow, look at that. That's really cool. 28 is just not cutting it though. Look at that. So I really like this fence. It literally just disappears off to nothing. It's a shame the sun's not on the fence and the background, but you can't have everything. I'm going to focus on the middle fence post, so I'm focusing on that one and I'll just have a look at it. Yeah, f8. Ooh, the front post is just out of focus a little bit, so maybe let's go f11. I'm shooting at 17mm, so super wide. Just love it how the lake is framed by this bit, and then you've got this man-made structure disappearing off to nothing. What I'm trying to get is less of an overlap between the end of the fence and this rocky outcrop just over the edge. Also, on a 17mm, this post is really distorted. But let's see if I can get rid of that a little bit by zooming in a touch. So this is at 24, holding the camera above my head. Probably can't see it. Might as well use the flippy screen since I've got it. There. So the lake is on the bottom right hand thirds. The post is just off the thirds on the other side. So I'm loosely using the rule of thirds. But I don't know, I'm not sure if that's better than this super wide one. I always seem to have these conundrums when I'm taking photos. And that's why it's worth just taking lots of different photographs of different things, different angles, different focal lengths. That seems to work for me anyway. Aha. I've got people on the horizon. Not sure if I'm going to get them in time, but let's see. I also like how these rocks in the foreground emulate what's going on in the background, but I don't want this foreground to be a focal point. I'm shooting at f11, but because I'm at 200mm, it's still giving me a blurry foreground, but at f11, you could see what that foreground element is. So somewhere here, maybe. Just something different. Now, if I was to shoot at f5.6, that foreground is just a bit of a blurry mess. So f11 at 200, you can still get blurry foregrounds, but you can see what that foreground is. It's actually got this sky up here. It's a shame there's not more ice on this, because that would look really cool. I've got a shot of one of these up on a mountain over that way somewhere, Plynlimon. It's absolutely covered in ice. But these fences and these styes are really good as a leading line into the frame. Another thing we've got as well, I'm just in my element here. Got the Llyn Peninsula out there, and it's that ridge line in North Wales that sticks out into the Irish Sea. But it's pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to get a good shot of it from up here, to be honest. Now, I've talked about this in previous videos, but I just spotted this shape. It's this arc coming around here. I'm not sure if it'll show up because it's all the same colour. This is where a bit of sunlight on this would give a bit of contrast. But let's go there, and let's knock the ISO down so we've got detail in the sky. This will be good with someone on the end, but I value my life too much to go and stand out there, especially with how slippery it looks. So that best of the light has come and gone. I think I'm going to head down. Now, if you want to learn about some of the techniques I used in today's video, you have to click on this video next to take your photography to the next level.